Hello and welcome back. Lesson 18. Now, somebody made a very interesting comment on one of the channels, and he said that this guy is a very seasoned software developer, and he said how nice if universities used the same method that we are using here to teach people skills. And the method he's referring to is project-based. So we are learning coding in this 21-day challenge in the context of building an actual app. So by the end of it, not only will you have learned some skills, but you would have built an app. And you're not just learning skills, but you're seeing where these skills actually fit into the context of the bigger picture of building an app. Now, the thing is, in our IT Varsity courses, we do all our courses like that. Everything is project driven, and that's what makes our students really like what we are doing, because you're not just learning random topics, you're learning how to build an app, and you're bringing in all the necessary topics. So we start off at basics, very simple, and progressively it gets more and more challenging because we're bringing in more and more concepts. So we start with just basic HTML and then CSS and then JavaScript, and then we talk to a server. So it starts you off on a very basic level and it brings you up, and that's what makes it effective. That's why our students are able to go out and get actual jobs, because they know end-to-end app development processes. Now, someone asked me if at the end of this 21-day challenge, whether those that are doing the full challenge will get a certificate. Short answer, no. The long answer, you can get a certificate if you do module 0 on the Apptrepreneur course. So if you go to our website, www.itvarsity.org, you'll see there's a form there at the top, at the banner, that allows you to register for the Apptrepreneur course. Now, the first module of the course is completely free, and you also get a certificate. So it's free, you learn to build an app, and you get a certificate at the end of it, just to say you've learned how to build an app from IT Varsity, which is quite amazing. So go and try it out, it's completely free. Now today we're going to move forward by adding some content into the left section of our page. So without delays, let's get down to it. So now if you look at the finished product, you'll see that we've got different types of content in the main section, in the left column of the main section. So we've got a heading, we've got a paragraph, well, a couple of paragraphs, and then we've got this thing here. This is a text input box, and then another paragraph, text input, etc., until at the bottom we've got our submit button. So the text input box, as is a bit obvious, is where the user will actually put in the answers, and when the user hits submit, then that's where the process will kick in of marking the work and checking if the user's answers were correct. So let's get started with that. Now, if you look at the left column that we currently have, it already has the H2. I mean, both sides have the H2. The next thing we're going to do is to add the paragraph, and we're also going to do some styling to get rid of this ridiculous brown and this greenish color here, so that we have a beautiful white background. But let's start with the text. So we put in a paragraph. Your answer below, and then we put in another paragraph that says number 1 and a question. What was Nelson Mandela's nickname? All right, so that's the first question. I'm not going to put in the input box yet, because that requires a bit of explanation. So in the meantime, let's save this and refresh. So back in the browser, you can see our text is there. Now I really need to go and change these colors. This is terrible. It's hideous. Okay, so where do we change the colors? In the style sheet, you'll remember that in the body of our app, in the body section of the CSS, we put in a background color, and that was that greenish color. So what we're going to do is we're going to change that to white. Remember, this is inside the body selector. The background color is there. So save this and refresh, and you can see the green color is gone. And then this brownish color, this tan that we've got here, we put it in the previous lesson just to show where the left section starts and ends. So let's go and get rid of that. So that was in which section? It was in content left. There's the color here, burly wood. Now we don't need to change the color to white. We'll just leave it out. We'll just remove that line. Now what will happen in this case is that it will pick up its color from the body element. So refresh, and now we just have one more thing, which is this paragraph, which is set to red. So to do this, we go back to our style sheet. Now if you look at the bottom of my style sheet, I've got styling for my H1, P, and H6. Now these are not supposed to be here. These are universal styles. Now if you'll remember, we put our universal styles right at the top. So I'm going to cut this and I'm going to paste it just below the body tag, and I'm going to leave it there. And then there's these two lines here, remember, section 1 and section 1P. We're going to remove those because those were just for testing purposes. So let's go back to the paragraph tag. We're going to change this one's color to black, or if you want, you can use the hash code for black, which is hash 000000. And then we're going to give it a line height of 190%. Line height will be the gap between each line. So 190% will be 190% off the default line height. So let's save this guy back in the browser, refresh, and there we go. It's becoming more and more difficult to see the difference between the finished product and what we've made because we're getting closer and closer. Now, as far as these text input boxes goes, I'm going to leave this. I'm going to dedicate a lesson especially for that because that requires a bit of explanation. So we'll stop here for today and continue in the next lesson.